All right. Well, it's been 2 months, and I really need to get better at consistency on this channel. Because I promised a dude I'd make 2 videos for him in the comment section, and that was 2 months ago. So both of them, you can see the title of this video, but I'm doing it for World Tour as well. I'm just gonna do a season where it's every single contestant from season 1, but they're in action as well. So let me actually move these 2 up, because the first 2 episodes don't have, what the heck? Oh, I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay, don't have teams. Well, the first episode is just an intro episode like normal. Pretty much all the same stuff goes, except it also introduces the other characters. But nothing much changes, and nothing much changes for the second episode either. I still think everyone that's here, the majority of them would still vote for Jeff and Bridget. So Jeff and Bridget are gone in the second episode, as always. And then we get our teams. And we have, for the Killer Grips, we have Lindsay, Izzy, Beth, Justin, Courtney, Ezekiel, Tyler, Owen, Noah, and Trent. And then for the Screaming Gaffers, we have Heather, Eva, Duncan, Cody, DJ, Harold, Sadie, Lashana, Katie, and Gwen. And yeah, Trent and Gwen still make their teams. They didn't pick them in this order, but they still picked their teams, and this is what they picked, these people. So since there's so many people this season, and I didn't want to extend the season that much, it's only 28 episodes, which is the original season's length if you include the special. A lot more of the episodes are elimination episodes. Now there's still a couple no elim episodes, but a lot more of them are elim episodes. Episode 3 I think was an elim episode either way though, and the Killer Grips still lose. And the dynamics in this team, we still got Justin who's flirting with Lindsay and Beth, but Tyler's here now, and Tyler is really pissed at Justin. Lindsay's still like forgetting who Tyler is, kind of like what happens with Alejandro. And it's kind of like a upped version of what happens between Tyler, Lindsay, and Alejandro in World Tour. But he's really pissed. So Tyler doesn't like Justin and is trying to get Lindsay back. And then Izzy and Owen are still together at this point. And Noah is friends with Owen and Izzy, because he hanged out with Izzy in the Island Special, and just like in Redonkulous Race, they have their friendship, which is explored a bit more this season. Trent is still insane. This is just what would happen if they're here. This is not a my way, so Trent stays insane, so he's off doing his own thing. And then Courtney and Ezekiel, I didn't know what to do with Ezekiel, and Courtney's not on the same team as Duncan because of what the dude asked. So I decided that since Courtney and Ezekiel were the bottom 2 on the first elimination ever in the show, Ezekiel has a vengeance for Courtney, and Courtney thinks Ezekiel's gross, so they're going to have a rivalry for all season. Well, at least until one of them gets out. So for the first episode, everybody, it's kind of similar to what happens in the main show, where Izzy is annoying everybody and being insane. Although Owen, Izzy, and Noah and Tyler all vote Justin, because Noah calls Justin the anti-me, and Izzy, I'm not gonna make her like not crazy. She's still crazy in this, but she's smarter. So she's like, yeah, he's definitely cunning. We should get him out. He has a lot of teammates. Owen just goes with the flow, and Tyler wants his girl back, but Courtney and Ezekiel vote each other. Justin, Lindsay, and Beth, and Trent all vote Izzy. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 votes Izzy. Oh crap. 1, 2, 3, 4 votes Justin. And let's just say because I didn't realize this was a tie while I was making the season. But let's just say that just like in the Island special, Justin, like Noah tries to help Izzy, but Justin is able to manipulate her into giving up. She's like, it's really hard, and she still does her E-scope thing. So E-scope is eliminated, not Izzy. So yeah, that'll matter later. Then for the next episode, it's kind of, since this is also elimination episode, or these next 2 episodes really, I'm just gonna speed up the timeline of what happens in the main show. So Trent is caught throwing the challenge, and everybody votes Trent, except Tyler still votes Justin, and Courtney and Ezekiel vote each other. But outside of that, everybody else votes Trent, and Trent is out in episode 4. Okay, sorry about that. So as I was saying, it's kind of a sped up version of the Gwen and Trent thing from the beginning of Action, and that can give me an excuse to show this team's dynamics. So we got Gwen and Duncan are still friends. We got Heather trying to stay under the radar, and Sadie and Katie have each other. Harold and Lashana are slowly gonna become more of a couple this season. Not a full-on couple, but it's gonna be explored more. And then we have DJ, who's kind of just here. And we have Cody, who likes Gwen, so he's on her side. And then Eva doesn't really have any friends right now. Later she'll bond with Duncan, but not right now. Okay. So, my goodness, it cannot stop cutting out for my life. Okay, it should be good now. I had to reset something, but it should be good now. Okay, so when it comes to the actual vote, we have Lashana votes with them, and Sadie, Katie, and Eva all think that it's kind of screwed up and they should actually win fairly, especially Eva, but Katie and Sadie don't like it. They can have like Gwen and Raj with Julia, except Gwen is not bad like Julia, but whatever. So these 3 vote Gwen. Heather obviously votes Gwen. And they still are like, okay, we'll have these 6 votes. Well, DJ is scared of Eva. And Harold, even though he told Lashana that he'd vote Heather with them, Harold is like, yeah, no, we can't have people that are willing to go against the other team because they'll go against us, or something like that. Not like that. That doesn't make sense. But he feels the same way Katie and Sadie do. So Harold, Eva, Katie, Sadie, and Heather all vote Gwen, while Duncan, Gwen, Cody, and Lashana all vote Heather. But DJ is super scared of Eva, so he votes Eva, getting Gwen out in episode 5. Episode 6 is an aftermath. They won't matter this season. I'll talk about the return one next season. But they won't really matter this season, so I'm just going to skip past them. Now it should be working. Holy. So, at the beginning of episode 7, or not the beginning, but at a point in episode 7, like I said, E-Scope was the one that was eliminated, not Izzy. So Izzy returns this episode and goes back to the Killer Grips. And she immediately hates Justin. She already did, but now she really does. And goes with Owen and Noah and Tyler, right? And I forgot to mention this before, but there's actually an idol this season, which I did add. I did have to change that so I could have a little bit of plot armor so a character could be better later. In episode 5, Beth finds this idol, and she lets the 2 people think she can trust know, Lindsay and Justin. And Justin likes that, especially because now there's 4 people that want to vote him out because they lose. Courtney and Ezekiel still vote each other. Their rivalry's still going strong for now. And Noah, Izzy, Owen, and Tyler all vote Justin. And it looks like it's over, and they're all laughing. And then he pulls out Beth's idol, and he was able to convince Beth to give it to him over just some classic manipulation. And he's doing like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, right? Kind of like how Scott was doing in that one season. I think it was Revenge. And he thinks he in a confessional, he's like, Owen's obviously not the answer, and neither is Izzy, because they're stupid and crazy. Izzy is crazy in this. Izzy's not smart like she is in some of my others. She is just crazy, but she has emotions. Like, she's competent, but not smart. So these two are obviously not it. Tyler has connections to Lindsay, but the person that's actually been figuring things out and scheming against him is Noah. So he uses his idol on Noah, and Noah is eliminated in episode 7. I know that sucks because he didn't get far in season 1, and now he's not getting far in season 2, but there's a 3rd season for a reason, so we'll see what happens. So that leads us to episode 8, which is a non-elimination episode, so we don't need to talk about episode 8. Not much happens in episode 8, except just character interactions. There are still a couple of these, but yeah. From now on, if it cuts out, I'm just gonna jump straight back into it, because this is probably annoying for the viewers. Anyways, for episode 9, the gaffers lose, and Duncan, Cody, Lashana, DJ, and Harold, Harold votes Duncan because Duncan is a bully. But these 4 all vote Heather, and Eva decides to vote Heather. Katie and Sadie are like, yeah, no, Heather's annoying. Everyone votes Heather, and when Chris is about to say Heather's out, DJ votes for himself, sorry. DJ quits, and that's because he had his secret alliance with, I don't know where Chef is, with Chef, and he felt bad about it, and he gets BS'd, because there's no reason why that wouldn't happen in canon, so, or like it did in canon, so yeah, he quits right before Heather was about to get eliminated. So episode 10 happens, and in episode 10, this is the episode where Owen gets his jaw broken, but since this isn't a non-elimination episode anymore, he still comes back at the end of this episode. He's still up for elimination, which I know is cruel, but he is. And because of that, Justin, Lindsay, Beth vote him. Courtney and Ezekiel still vote each other, but Izzy, being 1, not that smart in this, and 2, feeling bad for her boyfriend, votes Owen, and everyone except Tyler and Owen votes Owen. Courtney and Ezekiel don't. Tyler and Owen still vote Justin. So Owen is out with his broken jaw. Actually, it doesn't matter who Owen votes, but he probably did vote the wrong person since he's out of it. So Owen is eliminated. As for episode 11, the Screaming Gaffers lose. And they lose because Katie and Sadie ruin it, kind of like they did in the Sucky Sucky Outdoors challenge. And Eva blows up at them, and they run off crying, and people are pissed at Eva, but Duncan comes up to Eva, and they bond over Katie and Sadie being retarded, and Duncan's like, oh yeah, you were so in the right. And when it comes to elimination time for them, Duncan and Eva and Heather all vote Sadie for being useless and being annoying and being a loser. And then Sadie and Katie obviously vote Eva, and Harold still votes Duncan. And Cody and Lashana were thinking about voting either Eva or Duncan, but they decided to just play it safe and vote Heather. And because of that, that is 2 votes Heather, 1 vote Duncan, 2 votes Eva, and 3 votes for Sadie. So Sadie is out in episode 11. As for episode 12, that's an aftermath, so it does not matter. And then episode 13, we have the Killer Grips lose again. I didn't realize how many times I just went back and forth with the teams. But on the Killer Grips, we have Beth, Lindsay, and Justin. And Lindsay is starting to like remember Tyler. And eventually, in the end of the episode, or near the end of the episode, after the challenge, she like the two brain cells connect together, and Tyler is like begging her to come to his side, and she remembers him and all this stuff, and she decides to join sides. And Justin is pissed, and Lindsay says she's gonna vote him out, and she tries to get Beth to join, but Beth is like, no, he's too hot or whatever. It doesn't wear off on Beth. So they have 3 votes, but Justin goes up to Courtney, and it's like, I'll help you get out Ezekiel if you help me get out Tyler. And he knows it's going to go to a tiebreaker, but he doesn't care. He at least wants this. Justin's kind of desperate now. And Courtney's like, okay, I guess. So the 3 of them all vote Tyler because Izzy would be harder to fight. And Beth does not want to vote Lindsay, which was his original plan. And he's like, whatever. So he votes Tyler. And Ezekiel still votes Courtney. So in the tiebreaker, Justin just is obviously, he's not very smart, but he's a lot smarter than Tyler. And Tyler has a huge wipeout and gets eliminated in episode 13. And Lindsay, really mad at this, Justin tries to flirt with him to get him back, or to get her back at the end of the episode. And Lindsay blows up at him, smacks him in the face, which leaves like a big red mark on him, and he's like crashing out because now he's deformed. And she laughs and walks away. And Beth is like torn between the 2 of them. Episode 14, they lose again. And since Izzy and Lindsay don't really pose a threat right now, they're both idiots and they both want Justin gone, but they can't really do anything about it. They try to convince Ezekiel, but Ezekiel is probably almost as dumb as Lindsay. Izzy tries to get Ezekiel, but Ezekiel votes Courtney, and Lindsay and Izzy vote Justin. So to build trust with Courtney, Justin and Beth decide to vote with Courtney and take Ezekiel out, finally ending their rivalry. So yeah, goodbye Ezekiel. If these were smarter characters, they would have voted Courtney with them, but they're not smarter characters. At least not in this timeline, because Lindsay doesn't really get the thing of bettering herself and like Admiral Lindsay her hotness, and that doesn't really happen. So episode 15 hits, and the Duncan and Eva bullying has really gotten to Harold, and Katie's like depressed as hell because of Sadie being gone, but she doesn't know Heather voted for Sadie. So Heather, who's been kind of screwed over for most of the game, decides to make a move, ropes in Katie and ropes in Harold into an alliance. And Harold is able to convince Lashana, and they quote unquote make up. But Lashana does not want to, and neither does Heather. But Harold is able to bring them together for a little bit, while the 4 of them vote out Eva this time, and then Duncan the next round, because they throw the challenge, which Cody hates, but Cody can't do anything, and Duncan hates. And Duncan is like threatening to beat them up and stuff. And in episode 16, Duncan's out. So that's the next 2 eliminations, is Eva and then Duncan back to back, with Heather, Katie, and Harold being at least a little bit of an alliance, and Lashana. Then the merge hits, and for the killer grips, congratulations to Justin, Beth, Courtney, Lashana, Izzy, Cody. Cody's not from that, but just congratulations to all the killer grips and streaming gaffers that have made it. And we have an aftermath episode that starts this one, and yeah, I don't really care about the aftermath. But at the beginning of the merge, Heather immediately goes up, ditches, Lashana's like, okay, I'm done with this alliance. So Lashana and Harold drop out of it. So Heather takes Katie over here, who still trusts Heather, because Heather's really never been that mean to Katie, and is helping her, quote unquote, helping her with her stress of being without Sadie. But she gets into an alliance with Justin and Beth, but it's clear that these two do all the talking, and Beth and Katie don't. And also Courtney's in on this alliance too, since Justin was able to convince her by getting out Ezekiel. So these five are here, and these five are here. And they all try to band together. Lashana and Lindsay especially want them out, to get Justin and Heather out. So they all try to align, and the five of them, Justin and Heather, are like, they even tell Beth and Katie, like, the parents are talking, you don't get a say in this. And they decide, all right, the best plan of action would be to get the traitor out and get out Lindsay. And Beth's like, but, and they don't care. Which, by the way, Beth hates being on an alliance with Heather, but she trusts Justin, and Justin convinces her by saying, if I win, I'll split half the money with Lindsay. Obviously, he's crossing his fingers, and she's like, okay. And the five of them vote Lindsay, while over here the five of them vote Heather, and it's Heather versus Lindsay, and Heather wins. So there's a lot of ties this season, but Lindsay's out, and she's pissed, right? And Beth feels really, really bad. Lindsay blows up at Beth too. She feels really, really bad. And then the next episode hits, and Izzy won immunity last round, so this round Justin wins immunity. It doesn't really matter though, as long as it's not Izzy, because Izzy is the biggest physical threat out of these four, and since they're so on top right now, they're like, yeah, I don't care what you two think. Courtney's just kind of here, she doesn't really mind. Normally she would want to be the boss role, but she's like just chilling, trying to stay under the radar. Although she would have rather gotten Harold out for rigging the votes last time. So they're like, yeah, we're getting Izzy out, and they don't get a say, and Izzy is eliminated 19th. They're trying to convince the quote-unquote heroes, the good guys, are trying to convince Beth and Katie to switch, because of these two being so annoying. Beth and Katie have got a really good friendship going on, which will actually come back with Sadie being jealous about it in the next season, but you can wait for that. In the next episode, they decide, you know what, we're dropping it, we're switching, and Courtney's still on the Heather and Justin's side, but they switch and they all vote Justin, because Beth wins immunity, and they all vote Justin, and Justin is pissed, crashing out, and then it's revealed to be a non-elimination round. So no elim. I almost put Heather there, which I guess kind of spoils, because plot armor can't hold you forever unless you're Justin, because Justin wins immunity here. So the five of them all vote Heather. Courtney and Heather and Justin vote Beth, but it doesn't matter. Heather is eliminated in episode 21. In episode 22, it is a Purge challenge. Why? Because I said so. So, a Purge challenge basically means whoever does the worst gets eliminated. Think DJ in Season 1. Think maybe even Lindsay in Season 1. And we'll just say it's like the reboot episode where they have to stand on poles the longest, and the first person to drop, or we can say the last person to fall asleep. It doesn't really matter, because I always use Purge challenges in my videos to get out the person who hasn't done anything and is just floating, because I hate people floating to the end. That's in the original action. So, goodbye, Cody. He hasn't done much except be a vote, so I'm just gonna cut him out with the Purge challenge. And that also leads us to an aftermath that doesn't really matter, but there's an aftermath with these four, so you can have good interactions with like Heather and Lindsay, and the other aftermaths you can have some good stuff here and there, but not what I'm getting into, because it doesn't matter like the Get Over Yourself podcast did. Actually, that one didn't matter either. I just liked that one because it was fun. In the next round, it's revealed to be a duos thing, and that just means kind of like in the season 1 episode where it's Jeff and Gwen, and then I think like Lashana and Duncan, and then Owen and Harold, or Owen and Heather. It's like that, but now it's with Justin and Courtney, who are on the same team now. Beth and Katie, and Lashana and Harold. This is where Lashana and Harold officially become a couple. Beth and Katie just become are just friends. But Justin has secretly been developing his crush on Courtney that he originally has. And since Duncan and Courtney barely got to interact this season, that will come back next season in full force. It'll be a lot, because Eva's there too now. Courtney and Duncan are still together, and Justin still is like, you should ditch him and go with me, and Courtney crashes out at him, and Courtney now hates Justin, and he spends like the whole time trying to impress her, but in the end, the two duos that win immunity are Justin and Courtney, and Lashana and Harold, which means the only two people that you can vote for are Beth and Katie. Beth and Katie decide to vote for themselves, so it's Beth, one vote Beth, one vote Katie. And Courtney is like, the better move would be to vote Katie out, because Beth was on our team originally, while Katie has more connections with Lashana and Harold. So while neither of them are that great of a move, the better move would be to eliminate Katie. But Justin's like protest, and they is like, well, no, we should vote out Beth because she's ugly. And Courtney's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I don't like staring at that thing. I've already had to pretend I liked her for so long. I want to get her out. And Courtney's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. So that's one vote Katie from Courtney and one vote Beth from Justin. So it's 2-2. And Lashana and Harold, kind of following Courtney's logic, they at least know Katie more than they know Beth, since they were on the same team. So they just vote Beth, and Beth is eliminated in episode 24. Then episode 25 hits, and Courtney gets immunity, and 1, 2, 3 votes Justin, and Courtney also votes Justin, and it can be the thing where it's like the Princess Tower thing, and it's Justin and Courtney at the end, and Justin's like, well, they're more likely to vote for me than they are for you, so let me have the immunity even if you hate me. You need my vote. And Courtney's like, I'm good, and kicks him off. He gets all deformed and then gets voted out, and Justin is out in episode 25. That is, I'd say, our main villain of the season. Courtney would be Heather would be the secondary villain. I don't think Courtney would be a villain. I think she'd be kind of like an anti-hero, maybe. I don't know. And then we have episode 26, where Courtney also wins immunity just for some nice plot armor. And Katie comes up to Courtney, and she's like, hey, I know I've been trying to get you out whenever Justin's not able to get out. But can you vote Harold? And Courtney's like, sure, I don't really care who I vote out. Actually, no, she does. She wants to get back at Harold for rigging the votes in season 1. So she's like, sure, I can vote Harold. So Courtney and Katie vote Harold, and obviously Lashana and Harold aren't going to vote each other, so they vote Katie. So the final tiebreaker of the season is between Katie and Harold, and Harold loses for two reasons. One, I just think Katie's been through more this season than Harold, and two, I feel like Harold gets high, is gonna win a lot of my future videos, so or at least get really high. So I want to get him out now. That's also why I made Izzy not as big a character this season. Like, she's a big character, but she's been like either the main villain or just a main character in a lot of my videos so far. So yeah, that leads us to episode 27, where they learn in this episode, this has changed from the original, but they learn that Lashana, Katie, and Courtney, whoever makes it, it's a jury vote. So they know it's going to be a jury vote this time. And because of that, when Lashana wins and gets a guaranteed spot, she's like, okay, well, who's gonna, she looks at all this, and who's least likely to get votes? It's gonna be Courtney. So she gets out Katie, brings Courtney to the finale, and the canon winning is Lashana, while Courtney is not the winner. And it says Aftermath because the original one was also in Aftermath, but I mean, they'll breeze through these four because that's not the main event, and we'll see like who everybody voted for. But yeah, that's how the season turned out. I think it turned out pretty well. There's not much I think I really could have done. I think everybody got at least something, which I like, except Noah. I think Noah kind of got screwed over, but that's what a third season's for. So, and of course Jeff and Bridget, but they are the Aftermath hosts. Trent and Gwen. I like both the characters. I wish I could have not made them insane, but you know. And then I like how a lot of people who've never made Merge made Merge. Eva had stuff to do. Ezekiel had stuff to do. Katie definitely had stuff to do. A lot of plot development. Justin was more of a villain, and these final two are way better than the final two we had in action. Even if this was the main action timeline, I would have preferred these final two, even with how annoying Courtney was in the original action. So yeah. But obviously, Harold Lindsay would be the actual best one. I think this also sets up Season 3 well, which I'll make the Season 3 video, so I'm not going to get too many spoilers, but like with the Lindsay and Beth's fractured friendship now, we got Sadie being jealous of Beth and Katie's friendship. We got Courtney, Gwen, Trin, Duncan, and Eva all in the same thing. So actually, I don't know what teams they're on, but that's all going to be freaking love hexagon. That's not 8 people, but whatever. So that's going to be crazy. But yeah, I think this is how it turned out. If you liked it, like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, leave me a comment, and I'll try to explain why you're wrong. So, yeah. Sorry to the dude who suggested this that I waited so long, but I'm gonna go, and maybe I'll make the third one tonight. Maybe I'll make it tomorrow. I don't know, because I just go to school, take a final, come home. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, bye.